Hello everyone and welcome to my challenge run of Can You Beat Final Fantasy IX with MP only. The rules of this run are very simple. Anything that involves attacking the enemy must force us to use MP. All passive abilities learnt such as health regen are illegal as these don't count towards attacking. We may only use healing items outside of battle. Also, the use of the defend command is permitted as this also does not cause any damage. Now, we cannot actually start the run officially until after Zidane is forced to fight Baku in the Dark Forest, as no characters have MP attacks until then. But I wanted to show you what you can do until this fight. For example, a lot of people don't realise this first battle isn't a must win, so to progress legally we simply have to let the first boss kill us. About 10 minutes into the game we are thrust into this fight, which is a stage production of I Want to Be Your Canary. Now, I did attempt to see if we can win this fight without dealing any damage, however you do have to land the killing blow on the king in order to make the next cutscene happen, so sadly this is a fight where we do have to attack and break the rule. Now, while not a boss fight, I do want to show you this little mini game between Zidane and Blanc. They put on a performance of a duel. If you hit every button correctly in a good rhythm, you will score 100 out of 100 impressed nobles. They will shower you with 10,000 gil, which is invaluable at this moment, and later, when we gain access to Steiner, Queen Bran will give him a moonstone as she was very impressed by the performance of the show. We gain control of Steiner, and all there really is for him to do is to collect the moonstone from Queen Bran. We return to Zidane and I quickly equip him with the moonstone so that he may learn the Beast Hunter ability. Zidane's group bumps into Steiner and we are once again thrown into a mini boss battle that we can't legally pass. The reason for this is we have to damage Steiner around 3 times in order for him to use an attack on Blanc, which causes Oglops to appear and another cutscene to happen, so once again another scene we can't legally beat in this run. The group is joined by a small black mage called Vivi, who has access to black mage abilities. This means we can actually win this fight legally, as using any black mage spell costs MP. We can use Princess Garnet to keep the team healed, so all we have to do is spam magics with Vivi until the fight ends. Not including the fight we could lose, we have finally gained our first legal victory in this challenge run. This next fight we don't have to do anything, we simply have to wait a few turns for the bomb to explode. After we crash land in the Dark Forest, Garnet goes missing and it's up to Zidane to save her. We bump into Vivi and Steiner and are thrown into a boss fight where the enemy will drain the HP of Garnet, so we have to act quickly. Luckily, this fight is forced and it makes Zidane go into the trance status, equivalently the limit breaks of Final Fantasy VII essentially. Being able to spam the limit breaks, we are able to quickly defeat this monster, and this is another fight legitimately done before the start of the actual challenge run. Quickly after escaping with Garnet, another monster of the same variety this time tries to abduct Vivi. Now, I did attempt this boss fight several times as I thought I could simply let Vivi cast his fire spell and not do anything in order to be able to legitimately pass this battle. However, after many attempts it's clear that Vivi cannot do enough damage before having all of his HP absorbed, so I had to attack with Zidane and Steiner in order to pass this boss battle. I did consider just using potions to top up Vivi's health, but seeing as it's the same effect, I thought I may as well just end this quickly. Sadly, a battle we cannot pass legitimately in this run. Now, before I show you the next battle, I wanted to show you all these 2 images. I attempted to start the legitimate run of this challenge starting this battle. I tried for hours to do this fight legitimately, but Zidane being alone and not being able to heal and having no trance bar as it was forced in the Garnet fight made it impossible. After several hours of trying off stream, I asked ChatGPT to do the math to see if it was possible to hit trance again before dying. Zidane's spirit stat being only 23 means that each hit to him will result in a random number being added to his trance bar between 1 and 23. 255 points I needed to trance again, and as you can see on the second picture, I would need to likely receive 25 hits of damage due to the random aspect of points added to trance. Watching Baku's damage output, I can only really take 8 hits and less if he crits, so sadly the math doesn't math and it's not possible to win this fight legally in this run. However, going forward after this fight, the rest of the game is possible, so starting after this battle, the challenge is on and we can begin proper. So after the Baku fight and a little along the way, we have Steiner, Vivi and Zidane. We also find a spring. This spring is incredibly useful as it fully restores HP and MP for free, so we're going to stay here for a little while and grind some levels to make us stronger. Now during my grinding session preparing for the boss of the Dark Forest, I did get afflicted with the darkness status effect.
Bitch, I can't see!
Bitch, snap out of it.
Bitch, I can't fucking see!
And unfortunately, drinking from the spring does not cure this ailment. I will simply use black magic with Vivi and sword magic with Steiner, as using these are not affected by the darkness status ailment. So now we've come to the Dark Forest boss battle. Now before starting this fight, I did do some grinding to boost my transpars in the hopes that Zidane would be able to use them to attack. Zidane currently doesn't have any MP based attacks, so he is useless in this fight. Now as you can also see, we're still affected by the darkness status ailment, but spamming fire magic and Steiner's sword magic abilities of fire, this being a plant, will exploit its weakness. This is the strategy for this fight, just use these two attacks over and over again in the hopes that we get Zidane's transpar filled. Oh dear, Zidane has gone down and we are unable to revive, but luckily I can tell that this boss has already taken a lot of damage, so simply spamming fire and the sword magic from Steiner, this boss goes down easily. Blank even joins us at one point during this fight, but again like Zidane, he has no MP based attack, so he's simply a sponge to absorb attack damage. Once we defeat the boss, the team attempts to escape the Dark Forest and is flung into a couple of scripted battles against these beetle-like creatures. Now as you can see, not a great start. Steiner has no MP, Zidane is dead, so that leaves us only Vivi to use, but luckily he can multi-attack with fire and we will just have to do this in order to win. Now before we progress any further, I go into the inventory menu and click on Blank and notice that he has a couple of items that he can dequip, so I take them from him to use them on my team. These items aren't the best, but hey, anything for free is a free item. We arrive at the ice cavern and there's nothing really much to do here bar pass through. There is only one major boss battle, so we're just going to skip straight to it. Only a moment or two later did I realise my previous statement was incorrect. During this fight, Vivi was put to sleep, so unfortunately the only person I could attack with is now useless. Normally we could wake up a person with a physical attack, but seeing as we don't currently have MP attack, all we can do is run away. Also, Steiner ran out of MP, so he can't use magic sword, and he also tranced, but seeing as his trance is based on his physical attack, this is now useless. I quickly realised that this was going to be a bit more difficult than I previously anticipated. Another fight, another problem. So now, not only has Steiner run out of MP, so has Vivi, and I don't believe currently I've got any ethers in which to heal their MP. So until I find a save point, both of them are useless. Also, Zidane tranced, and this is a major issue as I know he's got a solo boss battle coming, so this means I'm either going to have to reload or grind his transpar again in order to make sure that I can solo fight the current boss that's coming up, as the only thing Zidane can do that costs MP currently is use his transpar.
2 hours later.
So, after what feels like an eternity, and using Vivi's fire magic to kill off the team, I began the arduous task of defending with Zidane to fill up his transpar in order to make sure I could take on the boss that's due coming. A quick stop at the convenient save point just before the boss fight to make sure if I have to reload and try this again, as I assume this is going to take multiple attempts in order to pull off. So here we are, the group passes out from the ice storm, and it's up to Zidane to fight the boss on his own. A 2-on-1 affair no doubt, the Black Wolf Swan and the Ice Giant Sea Lion. Now, a little secret that used to go around the school playground with this boss fight was that if you beat the Ice Giant Sea Lion first, you could actually unlock alternate costumes for your characters in the next village, Dali. Unfortunately, this was just a rumour and it's not true, and I wish it was because I spent ages in my youth trying to make it happen. My strategy of the pre-grind with Zidane pays off and he gets his transpar more or less instantly. Now, all I can do is hope that I can deal enough damage with my transpar in order to kill off both the Sea Lion and the Black Waltz. The Black Waltz goes down in one hit, so we're already off to a great start. This is a very good sign. Yes! I cast a second free energy and I pray. Oh my god, it actually worked. The Sea Lion is also dead. I thought this fight would have been a lot harder than it was. You have no idea how much I had to grind in order to make sure my transpar was full for this. The payoff kinda sucks if I'm honest. Once we escaped the ice cave, we made our way to the village of Dali. Now there isn't any actual mandatory fights in Dali until you're trying to leave on the airship with fight Black Waltz number 2. So to save time, I decided to skip it and just make sure you saw the boss fight. I start the fight off by casting Shell on Vivi and raising his magic resistance. I need Vivi to stay alive because I have to use Steiner's magic sword in order to attack. If I use Vivi's magic attack, Black Waltz 2 will counter with a stronger type of magic and usually attack all my characters. This makes this fight a little complicated because it essentially for now takes Vivi out of the fray and leaves only Steiner available to attack. After using Shell, we make sure Garnet heals the party in order for them to absorb damage while we wait for Steiner to use his magic sword ability. Now, one thing I did forget about the Black Waltz 2 fight was when you cast magic against him, he does counter with a team magic attack. However, he doesn't actually affect Garnet. This is currently useless as Garnet has no means of using legal offensive attacks, but if she had something, oh my god, it would make this fight easier.
Come the fuck on, Bridget!
Black Waltz 2 also has access to second level spells, so fire becomes Fira. He casts this on the party and fortunately Vivi just survives. We've been getting lucky. All we can do at the minute is simply rinse and repeat with Cure Everyone and use Steiner's sword magic abilities. Sadly, Steiner is now out of MP and we're going to have to use Vivi to attack. I can only hope that Vivi survives Black Waltz 2 counters attack and I can keep healing with Garnet in order to keep Vivi alive. Everyone's cured, we cast fire, and oh thank god he's gone down. This boss fight was incredibly annoying, thank god it's over. Now before progressing the game I head out of Dali and decide to do a little bit of grinding, but this time it's not XP on my mind, it's cash. I know that I can start one of the side quests of FF9, the Ragtime Mouse side quest. I can find Ragtime Mouse up to 4 times in Dis 1. All you have to do is answer correctly the questions he asks you and he showers you with cash. You can find him up to 20 times in total over the game, and as you answer more questions, the more cash you get. The way we force the Ragtime Mouse fight is to make sure that when we're on the world map and we're in a forest, we gently tap the controller as to not cause the rustling effect. If you do this enough times, eventually you will find him or the secret creatures fights. We can't do the secret creatures fights in this one though, also known as the friendly fights, so we're just going to skip them for this run. We progress the game further and find another Black Waltz. Enter Black Waltz number 3.
Oh, fuck off.
What follows, in my opinion, is one of the most heartbreaking cutscenes in gaming history. Vivi, enraged by the loss of the Black Mages, starts this battle off in trance. This is incredibly helpful as the last fight against Black Waltz 2 was incredibly difficult, so let's hope we don't struggle so much with Black Waltz 3. Vivi's trance ability allows him to cast double black magic, meaning he gets 2 turns instead of 1. This is incredibly useful. Zidane is useless without his trance, and that only leaves a Steiner and his magic sword abilities. Like Black Waltz 2, Black Waltz 3 has access to second level abilities, so let's hope this doesn't deal too much damage. 56 damage, it's pretty high, so I can only take a couple of those attacks, and now sadly Vivi has also lost his trance, so we've just got to play this by ear and hope that standard magic and sword magic attacks will end this fight quickly. A few rinse and repeat turns of sword magic and black magic attacks, and me also getting lucky by Black Waltz 3 focusing on Zidane, and Black Waltz 3 is down, with the irony that Vivi lands the killing blow. After a bunch of story and exposition, we make our way to Limblum and bump into our next playable character, Freya. Now, as you can tell from the name of this channel, I wonder who my favourite video game character of all time is. Now, the only mandatory fighting in Limblum is the famous Festival of the Hunt, and depending on which of your teammates wins depends on the prize they receive. Now, we actually want Freya to win this, which is good because Freya will win if Zidane loses. Zidane still can't do any attack, so we're just going to let the first enemy kill us and exclude us from the competition. We arrive at our first Chocobo Forest, and because of this we are able to play the hot and cold Chocobo minigame. We want to play this. If you can earn 10,000 points in this game, you can unlock the Robe of Lords, the best defensive robe for any mages in your team, and it will essentially make them incredibly immune to magic. Now, one good thing about the remastered version is that in-game timers aren't affected by the speed boost stat, so we can actually do this fairly quickly to earn the 10,000 points. I didn't actually have the patience to do it straight away and return to this a little bit later, but I will just say in total, I think with the speed boost it took me about an hour and a half to earn the Robe of Lords. We arrive at Q's Marsh and meet our they-them character Queener. We're not going to go into Queener for this challenge run. Their special ability involves eating that doesn't cost MP, and they can't attack at the moment, so essentially for the longest time Queener is useless. We arrive at Gizmaluke's grotto, have to ring some sexy bells, and then are forced to fight Master Gizmaluke himself. Master Gizmaluke took me a few attempts, but I did manage to come up with a strategy in order to beat him. First, if Zidane has the Ogre equipped, he can use the ability Soul Blade. This ability causes Zidane to cast silence on the enemy. This is very helpful due to the fact that if you use magic on Master Gizmaluke, he counters with water magic that affects the whole team. Next, we use Freya's Lancer's ability in order to damage Master Gizmaluke's HP and MP. Currently, this is the only physical attack we can do. Queener is still useless and we still cannot attack with Zidane. Now, I got frustratingly lucky with Master Gizmaluke as he kept missing his physical attacks. Before the fight, I grinded Zidane's transbar once again to make sure that he could unleash hell and end this fight quickly, but because Master Gizmaluke kept missing, that wasn't happening. After a few rinse and repeats of Vivi's magic and Freya's Lancer ability, Master Gizmaluke casted Silent Voice on Vivi. This meant now Vivi couldn't do anything. The silence effect makes Vivi useless as he can no longer cast magic. All we can do now is use Lancer and pray that Master Gizmaluke finally hits Zidane. I was hoping that Freya's Lancer attack would be enough damage to win. It didn't happen, so now I simply had to sit here and wait for Master Gizmaluke to finally hit Zidane. This took forever. I had to sit there for about 20 minutes waiting for this to happen.
2 hours later.
Finally, Zidane gets his trance ability. Now all we have to do is use his strongest attacks and take out Master Gizmaluke. This fight was frustrating, not because it was difficult, but simply because it was a long-winded process. We arrive at my favourite character's hometown, Bermesia, and are treated to my favourite line in the game: "What can I do for my kingdom? This is not the time." At the end of Bermesia, we face General Beatrix for the first of 3 times during the game. All we have to do is survive enough attacks from General Beatrix in order for her to use Stock Break and take out everyone. This fight and the second one is supposed to lose. All we have to do is get lucky and hope that she doesn't kill us individually before she tries to take out the whole group. Now, during the recording of these videos, we did encounter some issues, and unfortunately in some of them my face will be in it, so feel free to drop a like for my beautiful mug. We rejoin Garnett's group and are joined by Marcus to fight the defective Black Waltz 3. Now, when I first did this fight, I panicked because the only physical attack that I can do legally is Minus Strike with Steiner. Minus Strike damages the opponents by the difference of Steiner's max HP and his current HP. I thought hopefully if I kept his HP low enough, I would be able to deal enough damage to Black Waltz 3 before we ran out of MP. Sadly, this didn't happen. I sat there helplessly waiting for death and actually realised something in all my years of playing this game. You can't lose this fight. Black Waltz 3 won't attack Garnett. In fact, if Steiner and Marcus go down, Black Waltz 3 will malfunction and damage himself and actually end up killing himself. So really, for this run, we simply had to wait this fight out. Thank God, because I tried several times and could not deal enough damage to this thing before we ran out of MP. I take a quick detour back to Treno to do the Stelezio coin side quest in order to earn the Blood Sword for Steiner, an invaluable weapon that not only damages the enemy but restores Steiner's HP. Post-edit Ash here, I did forget to include the footage of me going to Treno's synthesis shop and acquiring the Power Belt. The Power Belt is invaluable as it allows people to convert MP to their physical attack damage. This item will be incredibly useful for characters such as Steiner and Zidane, because finally they can legally attack in this run. Next, in the Treno underground area called Gargan Rue, we fight the Ralvarava. The Ralvarava is incredibly easy. We only have to deal a certain amount of damage for it to flee the fight, so simply attacking with Steiner with the Blood Sword and healing with Garnet is all I needed to do here. We rejoin Zidane's group and end up in Clara, and we are forced to fight the Antlion. The Antlion actually took me a few attempts to get this right, because I didn't realise that its strategy was very simple. We need to spam Ice Magic with Vivi, we need to cast Race's Wind to heal with Freya, and simply rinse and repeat and hope that Zidane once again gets trance. I know a lot of it so far is Zidane having to get his trance bar, but without him being able to attack, it's the only thing I can do to help along the team. Also, we have to use Zidane's trance. If you physically attack the Antlion, it will use Counter Horn. Antlion does have one devastating attack, the Sandstorm, and it does reduce you to single figure HP, but fortunately it can't actually kill you, so as long as we keep our health up and repeat this cycle, it's an easy win. Also in Clara, we have Encounter 2 with General Beatrix. The formula is the same as before, just keep our health topped up and hope she doesn't kill us off one by one before she lands the team's killing blow. We don't have to do anything, just hope to survive. We arrive back at Alexandria, reunite with Steiner, and are forced to face Queen Braun's henchmen Zorn and Thorn. This fight is very simple as long as you pay attention to one thing. In certain intervals, Zorn and Thorn will cast magics on each other, high level magics, Meteor and Flare. As long as you attack the person who's been gifted the magic before they use it, the magic is neutralized. So simply this fight is just rinse and repeat, attack the person who gets gifted the magic, and they will never get a chance to attack. The third fight with Beatrix, I'm not doing this again, you already know the premise, so let's move on, shall we? We return to Fossil Rue and encounter the Ralvui Margot. This boss fight for the MP run was actually really simple. If you physically attack this boss, he will curl up into a ball and have increasingly high defense, so you won't be able to deal a lot of damage. All I had to do was simply wait for him to uncurl, spam a couple of Blizzard magics, and he went down instantly. The Ralvui Margot is very weak to ice, so Vivi's attacks did well over 1500. We return to the outer continent and begin the arduous task of grinding Chocobo hot and cold so that I can unlock two of the best items in the game, the Protect Ring and the Robe of Lords. The Protect Ring costs 8,500 points and the Robe of Lords costs 10,000 points. In total with the speed boost, I think this took me about 2 hours on and off just to get done. After Chocobo hot and cold, we go to Fossil Rue and are chased by the Armored Dahalan. You can actually skip this fight altogether if you're lucky enough. Unfortunately, I wasn't so. I hit one of the swinging axes a few times and the Armored Dahalan caught up with me. You can't actually win this fight, you can only escape. First you must deplete the Armored Dahalan's 800 HP and then run away. It always starts with a back attack and hit me with level 5 death. Luckily, none of my teammates' levels are multiples of 5, so it misses everyone. Thank God, because this could have been an instant TKO. Even though it forces us into the back row, one MP attack from Zidane with his high physical damage, and a quick summon from Garnet, and the Armored Dahalan goes down. We can quickly run away and outrun it. Next up in the boss battles, after the Armored Dahalan, is the Bounty Hunter Lani. Lani can be quite challenging as she does high physical attack damage and also high magic based damage also. I cast Fira with Vivi and deal some okay-ish damage but not great. Then I physically attack with Zidane and do some okay-ish damage. Not great again, but still better than Vivi's at the minute. I cast Reflect onto Vivi and try the bounce magic off your own reflect trick to increase Vivi's damage output. Lani hits me with a water attack and it's pretty devastating. Quina is once again dead, but it doesn't matter because we can't use her anyway. But we did get a bit of damage from the Reflect as it was still active on Vivi at the time. The self-reflect trick on Vivi hasn't really worked, it only increases damage by a couple of hundred. Zidane goes for a physical attack, but Lani is quick and unfortunately misses. Zidane is downed and all that's left now is Garnet and Vivi. Lani then casts Thundara on Garnet, but luckily with the Robe of Lords it doesn't deal too much damage. Garnet revives Zidane for the first time, and she goes to instantly down him again. Luckily he's left with 200 health. A mistimed self-reflect spell and I damage Vivi with his own magic. Luckily he manages to stay up, this is not going well. Lani then casts Blizzard on the whole team and Zidane is downed again. Garnet cures the team, Vivi hits her with another magic, and Garnet revives Zidane once again. Just before Zidane's revived and Vivi keeps spamming fire magic, Lani cast another water magic on the team and caused Garnet to trance. This is good as it should increase her magical output. And just as Zidane gets up, Vivi hits one more Fira spell and luckily Lani is vanquished. This fight was difficult, I made too many errors.
And you know you
We head to the Conde Petit Mountain path and encounter a new character, Aiko, another white mage. I didn't really use Aiko in this run, I mainly focused on Garnet and only used Aiko when I had to, so I won't go into her character for this run as I barely used her. A little way along the path we encounter the Hill Gigas boss. For the first time in a long time I have 4 characters that can all produce offensive attack. My 2 white mages can summon, Zidane can physically attack, and Vivi can spam magics. The Hill Gigas barely attacked me in this, and when he did, actually got very lucky and he missed a few times. There are strategies where you can slow and silence him, but I didn't feel the need. A simple death by a full frontal assault was all that was needed to take down this boss quickly. Also noted that during the summons, Garnet dealt some massive damage, so we're going to rely on her for a little while. Next, we have the undead monster, the Lifer Tree. No strategy is needed for this fight, the Lifer Tree is undead, so all we have to do is cast life on it and it's an instant death. Aiko did die due to level 5 death, but I'm not really fussed about this, it's a quick win. The next boss fight is Zidane versus Amarant. Once again, a nice simple one-on-one fight. I could have took him out with a few basic attacks, but luckily I actually had my trance bar once again, so 2 attacks from trance with Zidane and Amarant goes down. This also unlocks him as a new playable character. Next, we have the optional Alexandrian boss fight, the Tantarian, located in the library. This boss fight was difficult, I took a number of losses before I finally managed to get the win on this. Now, as you can see, the Tantarian is a book. In order to actually attack the boss properly, first we have to cause between 150 to 200 physical attack damage in order for the Tantarian's inner monster to appear. Once opened, you cannot attack the Tantarian physically, because if you do, it will cause the book to close and you will have to perform this over again. The Tantarian attacks with either casting poison on a party member, which you can block with antibody, and as you'll see later, I didn't do that with certain teams, or it uses a paper sandstorm attack to attack all the team for massive damage. Now, the first thing that went wrong with this fight is that Amarant got poisoned. I forgot to equip him with the antibody ability. This means he will take a percentage of damage each turn, even by healing with Racy's Wind and Chakra. Unfortunately, eventually it did cause him to go down. Now, once the Tantarian book is open, the best strategy is to spam fire-based magic with Vivi. Tantarian being a book and being made of paper makes sense. It causes a lot of damage. The Tantarian is obviously extremely flammable.
and set fire to it.
After a few more paper attacks, both Freya and Zidane go down, leaving Vivi on his own. Wait, hold on, it's a miracle, Zidane's revived. I forgot that he had the auto-alive ability. Zidane can revive once per battle automatically. This saved my skin. I got very lucky here. A mistimed fire attack luckily caused enough damage to once again open the Tartarian book. All he can do right now is spam with poison, but both Vivi and Zidane have antibody, so they can't be killed by it. A couple more fire attacks and finally the Tantarian goes down. This fight was hard, I am so glad it's over.
2 hours later.
After a couple of hours of off-stream grinding Chocobo hot and cold and catching frogs with Quina to power up, we arrive at the town Oliviet. Next up we have the Arc battle. This battle was a little difficult, but not for the reasons that you think. So firstly, it has a wind attack which can cause confusion on the enemies, and as you can see, unfortunately I forgot to guard Amarant from confusion. Luckily, I have my 3 powerhouses in this fight, Steiner, Amarant and Zidane. The 3 of them all have learned MP attacks, so can use their physical attacks boosted by MP to cause great physical damage. As you can see from Amarant, he did over 4,000 in some attacks. Freya will be used to cast Racy's Wind to keep the party healed as I have no white mage, and a simple onslaught of physical attacks is enough to bring down this enemy. Now, Zidane did go down in this fight, but luckily Amarant has learned the skill Reverify, which revives one of your characters from death. Thank God for that, because with no white mage I have no ability to revive any of my teammates. A simple rinse and repeat of physical attacks and the art goes down. Another battle done. Next we return to Aiko's group and arrive at the Desert Palace. Now before I show you the next boss, I do need to show you this. In the Desert Palace there are several light puzzles. If you can get these correctly you can unlock bloodstones. Removing the bloodstones from these puzzles makes the next boss fight a lot easier. So once you have been through the Desert Palace and removed the 4 bloodstones, you can fight the Valia Pira. As mentioned before, taking away the bloodstones helps weaken the Valia Piras in several different ways.
And you know you
So the main way that the Valia Pira fights is by casting magic. We can counteract this by using Calm Buckle with Aiko. However, if we put the status effect on ourselves, we cannot heal. And when you watch this video, you'll see that I made a few mistakes. The Valia Pira has access to level 3 spells such as Firaga and Thunderga, so weakening the effect of these spells is a must, as a critical hit could instantly KO one of the party members. My 3 mains at this fight are Aiko, Dagger and Vivi. Quina is still useless as she has no MP attack. I start the fight off with the Comet spell, which was really not a good idea. The Comet spell's damage is very inconsistent and is actually dealt randomly. It also has a 67% chance of missing. Luckily this time I didn't, and it did do some good damage, but we can't rely on this spell. Next we use our white mages Aiko and Garnet to deal attack damage with their summons, and to use their white magics to keep us healed, bring us back to life, and also to use Reflect. Now one of Valia Pira's tricks is to also cast Reflect on itself to try and make the mages useless. This is tough because my party does consist of all mages currently, so we need to wait for this to run down so that we can attack with magic. My first blunder. If you cast Reflect on yourself and then cast a magic on yourself, it bounces off to affect the enemy for greater damage. However, I made a blunder and cast water on the entire party. This little trick does not work if you cast the magic on your whole party, and as you can see, I paid the price for it by downing Aiko.
shit.
My next blunder, I bring Aiko back after receiving a Blizzard Jar. Everyone has low HP, and before I remember to heal everyone, I cast Reflect on my team again, so everyone now has low HP and I cannot heal. Garnet attacks with Rama, and once again I rinse and repeat with casting Reflect, and once again forget to heal myself. Watching this fight back is embarrassing. How am I making this many mistakes? The Valia Pira clearly has Reflect, and I cast magic on it, and I pay the price again because this time Vivi goes down.
Oh, fuck off.
Thanks to the Reflect status effect, we get a few free hits on this boss. Also, God bless Garnet, I can't believe she's currently being my tank with her summons. Quina goes down and we decide to take another risk by casting Comet once again. Thank God, because it paid off and dealt some pretty good damage. I, for some stupid reason, decide to waste another turn by reviving Quina. I then cast a Blizzara on the boss and finally it goes down. This might have been the hardest boss fight that we've done so far. Our next boss fight is the Melter Gemini, which is a combination of Zorn and Thorn combined. This boss fight was incredibly simple compared to the previous one. All we have to do is simply just keep attacking with both Amarant, Freya and Zidane, as they all have MP attack, and keeping their HP topped up with Eco. Aiko also casts a few summons, and keeps the party healed with her white magic. Melter Gemini also casts various status effects such as Virus and Venom, but if we have the right abilities equipped we can simply guard them and they don't cause any problems. This boss fight ends very quickly and without fuss. After the previous fight, I decide to do some grinding of levels, play the rest of Chocobo Hot and Cold and unlock the world's treasure chests. I won't go into Chocobo Hot and Cold on this video, as there's plenty of other videos describing how to unlock all the treasure chests. After some serious grinding, I decide to take on the Tahaka. Nothing exciting happens in this fight. I've leveled up adequately, I've made sure to unlock some really good weapons, and with a few high level attacks, the Tahaka goes down very quickly. With a measly 29,000 HP, a couple of physical attacks from Zidane, 1 or 2 summons from Garnet, and a few spells from Vivi is all that's needed to take this boss down. Next up we had the Earth Guardian. I was a bit nervous about this fight as I'd only have Zidane to use. He does have MP attack, so at least he can legally attack in this fight. Quina is still useless as she can't learn anything, so it's up to Zidane alone. Now this boss fight is simply a war of attrition. He only has 20,000 HP, so if Zidane can deal enough damage on his own, this will be easily done. Having the golden hairpin for auto regen to make sure that Zidane heals is a must, and also making sure he's got any gear equipped that can heal for earth damage will absorb the attack cast by the Earth Guardian. Essentially meaning auto regen and any earth based magic cast on Zidane will heal him. So all we have to do is wait out the Earth Guardian and simply keep attacking until he goes down. After a while of gameplay, we head to Branbal and are forced into a series of battles one after the other. The first up is the Amadisiasis. Zidane starts the fight alone and is then joined by Freya and Amarant. All of them have MP attack, so simply all we have to do is make sure to keep attacking physically whilst equipped with MP attack, and the Amadisiasis goes down very quickly. Next up we have the Abaddon. The Abaddon fight starts a little differently than the previous one. We start off with Quina and Steiner, and instantly Quina is KO'd. Which is fine anyway, because Quina still isn't able to do anything as she can't learn MP attack, so all I have to do is keep attacking with Steiner and deal enough damage to force Zidane into the fight. Once Zidane's into the fight, all we can do is again keep physically attacking as they both have MP attack. The Abaddon does get one or two little attacks in, but it doesn't cause us any cause for concern. Another easy boss battle quickly done, as he only has 12,000 HP. The last of these three awkward fights is the Shell Dragon. We start off with a physical attack, in which the Shell Dragon responds with an Earth-based attack. Then Zidane trances, which is good because now all I have to do is spam his high-level trance magic until Garnet appears, keep spamming the trance attacks, get in a quick summon with Garnet, and the Shell Dragon goes down. Another easy victory, even though the fight starts off awkwardly. Next up, we have the Silver Dragon boss. This boss relies on air-based magic, so making sure you equip items to reduce the damage from these is essential. This boss isn't too hard. The main strategy here is simply spam ice magic with Vivi, as that's his strongest magic currently, physically attack with Zidane, cast Chakra with Amarant, which cures a part of MP and HP. The Silver Dragon did use a basic scratch attack, and it did use its shockwave attack twice on the party during this fight, but it barely dealt any damage. I didn't feel the need to show you all this fight because it was a simply rinse and repeat of strong attacks and it died almost instantly. Next up we have Big Daddy Garland. He starts the fight off by casting Stop. I once again use Chakra by Amarant to keep Zidane's HP and MP topped up so he can use MP attack, as he's currently my physical tank attacker. We take a physical swipe with Zidane and then throw in a Judgment Bolt from Garnet for good measure to deal some pretty good damage. Keep spamming them ice attacks with Vivi as they're currently his strongest magic. Big Daddy Garland hits us with a Psychokinesis on Zidane and barely does anything. That was pretty much pathetic. Zidane hits for nearly 7,000 on a physical attack. Another Psychokinesis, this time onto Vivi, doing even less damage than he did to Zidane. He tries to cast Stop once again, not realising that we're immune to it. I decide to switch things up with a quick Flare attack. And lastly, just to add insult to injury, I decide to throw a Mega Flare at him with Bahamut. Garland was way too easy. Here we are at the last stretch, starting off with the Nova Dragon. To begin the fight, we use Freya's Dragon Crest ability, which damages in proportion to how many dragons you've slain. Luckily, Garnet gets hit with Psychokinesis and Trance. We can now use her Trance ability Eidolon, which causes us to lose control of her temporarily while she spams one summon again and again. Zidane hits with a strong physical attack for around 6,000 damage. And Nova Dragon hits us with a shockwave attack, attacking all of the team for high level damage. Like Zidane, we use Amarant to do high physical attack damage and heal with Chakra intermittently. The rest of the fight plays out as follows, simply repeating the same attacks of Mega Flare, Dragon's Crest, physical attack and Chakra with Amarant. Very quickly the Nova Dragon goes down. I'm so glad we're on the final stretch of the game. Garnet did have to heal once with a Curagar, but that was the only thing that changed in the rest of the fight. Next up we have the Malaris enemy. We start with a full frontal assault of physical attacks, ice magic as Malaris is fire based, and of course the Bahamut summon from Garnet. Malaris does use the mustard bomb attack, which causes the heat status effect on us. Any teammate that's affected with heat, if they are attacked, is an instant KO, so we need to make sure to guard against this. You can do that with the body temp ability learned from various items. Malaris does cast Reflect on himself, that way he can bounce the magic off himself to cause more damage to me. Amarant and Zidane have hit with physical attacks and Garnane hits with another Mega Flare. I cast Reflect on Vivi to bounce ice magic off him to cause more damage. Another physical attack from Zidane and Malaris goes down. However, the Malaris has one last trick up its sleeve and tries to take the team with us. This can be an instant game over if you've not got enough health. Next up is the Tiamat fight. I'm not going to show you this whole fight because honestly nothing happened. Tiamat kept wasting turns over and over again by using MP absorb, so an all-out assault from my team was all that was necessary. He did use 2 attacks, but they barely did anything. The first one did cause Vivi to trance, so I thought I would try the cheap Reflect and Blizziker attacks on him for double black magic. However, I mistimed the reflects and they ran out too quickly, but again another Mega Flare from Garnet was all that was needed to take Tiamat down. A very quick boss fight, so there's no real reason to show you it because nothing really happened once again. Next up we have the optional boss Hades. This boss did take me a few attempts because Hades has the dreaded curse attack. Unless you are very high level and have unlocked all the abilities to block status effect, Curse casts every status effect in the game, causing you to pretty much become unplayable and die instantly. Knowing this, I know I would have to end this fight quickly and hopefully get a load of luck. Thankfully I did on this one. Hades never used the curse attack, all he did was some basic attacks and a few spells, so I'll admit I got very lucky with this one. The attacks that Hades did use was the Cleave and Mustard Bomb. Mustard Bomb did nothing as once again I can guard against the heat status effect. The formula now, pretty much until the rest of the end of the game, is the same. High level magic from Vivi, spamming Eidolons and Cure from Garnet, and physical attacks from Amarant and Zidane. After beating Hades and unlocking his synthesis shop, we face the Water Kraken, another enemy that's going to be very simple seeing as it has an element, so simply spamming Thunder Magic with Vivi, using the Arc Summon that we've just unlocked by beating Hades, and physical attacks from Amarant and Zidane, and the Water Kraken will go down quickly. He does have the free status effect, but again, like Heat, you can simply guard against this. He does use Ink, which causes blindness, but he only does it to Vivi, which doesn't matter, as Vivi has no physical attack damage. A final hit with Amarant and the Kraken goes down. The only thing that the Kraken does which is slightly annoying is it will cast water magic on itself to heal once it takes a certain amount of damage, but it's simply a war of attrition, cause more damage than he can heal, and the fight ends quickly. I'm really starting to get boss fatigue now. Next up is round 2 with the Earth Lich. The Earth Lich attacks with several status effects such as Doom and Stop. I did try to cast Curaga on him, hoping that he was classed as undead, but unfortunately he's classed as a demon, which is bullshit. Vivi goes down due to the Doom status effect. Garnet quickly revives him with life magic. I use the Arc Summon with Garnet and luckily get the long-winded version. This helps me as my teammates can now cure themselves with the Regan status effect and get back to full health. It's a bit cheap, but I don't care at this point. The Earth Lich uses the Death Cutter attack, causing Doom on Zidane. He goes down. He then uses level 5 death on the team. Luckily Garnet and Vivi survive, but Amarant does not. A final flare attack and the Lich goes down. Thank God, because again I am getting extreme boss fatigue. The final 3. First we start off with the Death Guys. Its name's appropriate as it starts off with a devastating meteor attack. A couple of physical hits from the boys and an Arc Summon from Garnet. Vivi then charges in with a devastating Blizziger attack. A pathetic Demon Claw scratch attack from the Death Guys. We decide to take no chances and have Garnet use a Cure attack just to keep the HP topped up. A group physical attack from a Tail Whip that barely does anything. Thank God, we're getting very lucky so far. A rinse and repeat of more physical attacks, ice magic and cures from Garnet. Oh no. Zidane has tranced. This isn't good because I know the Death Guise is nearly dead. Attack, we've now lost Zidane's valuable trance bar for the next battle. The Death Guise is down, 2 to go. So here we are, Trance Kuja. He starts off with a holy attack, which does nothing! We start off with the usual, the powerful Arc Summon from Garnet. Zidane lands a devastatingly high physical attack. Vivi follows suit with a flare attack, which is quickly responded by Kuja with a flare attack of his own. Amarant goes in with a Fury Swipes attack and does nearly as much damage as Zidane previously did. Just for good measure, we change up the summons and hit Kuja with a Ramu attack. Kuja then responds with a Flare Star attack, which deals some fairly decent damage to the entire party, but not enough to KO them. After another physical attack from Zidane, Kuja starts the boss bullshit by trying to heal himself. Kuja once again responds with a Flare Star attack, trying to take out the entire party. He then kills my White Mage dagger. That's not good, because now I only have Amarant in order to revive with. He keeps coming at me with these Flare Star attacks, trying to take out the entire party. I balls up by casting Flare on him while he's got Reflect and take out Amarant by mistake. Whoops. He then responds with a flare attack of his own. Another high physical attack from Zidane and Kuja goes down, but he's not going down alone as he casts Ultima to try and take us with him. So here we are, the final boss, Necron, the boss all FF9 fans love to hate because he came the fuck out of nowhere.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
His first attack, Blue Shockwave, misses. We respond with a physical attack from Zidane, which also misses. Is this an omen for how this fight's going to go? Necron casts Protect on himself, lowering damage received from physical attacks. That's not good. He casts Blizzardure on the team, which barely does anything. Just to be safe, we cast Curaga with Garnet. Amarant takes a swipe. Ooh, only 2,000 damage. That's a lot less. Protect is seriously going to cause me some problems. He hits Garnet with a flare. It doesn't do much. She'll recover that with regen before we know it. I respond with a flare of my own from Vivi. It's currently better than what the boys who attack are doing. It's going for one of its ultimate moves, the Grand Cross, which includes various status effects including death that takes out Zidane. He casts Protect on himself once again. I get super lucky. Vivi goes into trance, which negates Doom, so he's able to use his trance bar without dying. Garnet has Mini on her. This causes all physical and magical output to be lessened. Another physical attack and a flare attack from Vivi causes some good damage to Necron. Now Necron responds with an attack called the Neutron Ring. This causes some pretty high damage, but also causes Amarant to go into trance as well. This is very helpful. Necron decides to do some more bullshit and cast Shell on himself, reducing damage received from magical attacks. He really does not want to die. He casts Thundergut on the party, again for some pretty high damage. I try to revive Zidane, not realising that he has the curse status effect, which enables him from being revived in battle due to magic. A double flare attack from Vivi. The damage isn't great due to Shell, but any attacks at the minute is better than nothing. Another blue shockwave attack to Amarant, this time not missing. This party has some serious low health at the moment. We managed to get a much needed Curaga in from Garnet, thank God. I test to see if the revive ability will revive Zidane. Sadly, Curse has blocked this as well. Another double flare attack from Vivi. We're slowly whittling down Necron's HP, but I don't know how much he currently has left. Another Curaga and a double Chakra helps revive my team quite healthily. Thank God I timed that well. Another double flare from Vivi. Come on, he must be nearly down. Another blue shockwave attack causes Vivi to go down to 1 HP. He casts Protect on himself again to reduce physical damage output. I try the Arc Summon, but with Garnet being minted, it only deals 1400 damage. Another flare attack from Vivi and he's still standing. How much HP has he got left? Another Grand Cross and this time he's done Doom to Amarant. I need to finish this fight now or I'm not going to make it. And now he's casting Curaga on himself. Jesus Christ, this boss is hard. Another Curaga with Garnet in the hopes of keeping the team alive. A physical hit from Amarant and another flare from Vivi. Amarant has gone down due to Doom. Oh my god, I don't think I'm going to make it. Another Neutron Ring attack and Vivi is almost dead. Garnet cast life on Amaranth to get him up. Oh my god, come on. Another flare attack and finally he goes down. Oh my god, the challenge is over. We finally completed FF9 MP only. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for joining me on this learning experience of learning how to edit. Before I go, a very special thanks to Kana from my Discord and also Nathan from NG+, who gave me the inspiration for this challenge run. Until next time everyone, bye!